Imagine this. You save up for months to afford one luxury dinner. $2,000 for a night of Wagyu beef, truffle risotto, and a waiter who doesn't blink. And after it's over, you feel a bit guilty. Like maybe that money could have gone toward rent. Or debt. Or, not evaporated in debt. Or, not evaporated in 3 hours. Now imagine a billionaire spending the same amount, not just without guilt, but with a smile. Here's the real question. Why do the rich never regret spending money, while most of us can't? Enjoy it without guilt? It's not just because they have more.
It's because money means something different to them than it does to you. Let's explain.
$1 is, well, a dollar, a snack, a bus ride, a decision. To a billionaire, $1 is a rounding error. It's not a snack, it's background noise. Let's get visual. If you make $50,000 a year and you spend $500 on a weekend trip, that's 1% of your annual income. Now scale that up. If you make $50 million a year, 1% would be $500,000.
To the rich, money is abstract. To most people, money is survival.
So spending $2,000? That's like someone earning $50K buying a $2 sandwich. You wouldn't feel guilty about a sandwich, would you? That's the first
People grow
difference.
up hearing this phrase, don't waste your money. But here's what nobody tells you. The rich don't think about wasting money. They think about using it, not saving for saving's sake. Using it like a tool to create, leverage, buy time, reduce friction, gain influence. To most people, money is the goal. To the rich, it's a lever, like a crowbar, used to open new doors. Think of it this way. You're playing Monopoly. Most players hoard cash and pray to survive. The winner? They spend early, buy aggressively, and take risks. That's how the game is won, and real life isn't so different. Ever tried something new and failed and thought, I can't afford to mess up again? That thought doesn't live in the minds of the ultra-rich. Not because they're fearless, but because they have a cushion. Imagine falling off a 10-foot ladder onto concrete. Now imagine falling off the same ladder onto a giant inflatable pillow. That's the difference between you losing $10,000 and Jeff Bezos losing $10 million. One creates panic. The other barely causes a shrug. This psychological safety net is why the rich can spend freely and recover fast. It's not just about having more. It's about knowing mistakes won't sink you. Here's something sneaky. When you spend $1,000 on a designer bag, that's a luxury. When a billionaire spends $1 million on a private jet company, that's an asset. And the best part? Sometimes, even their luxuries make them money. Let's say, a millionaire posts about their luxury lifestyle. Watches, yachts, cars. What happens? More followers, more brand deals, more influence. Suddenly, that wasteful spending becomes a business investment. Meanwhile, the average person buys something to impress others, and it depreciates. The rich? They often monetize their spending. You buy to consume. They buy to grow.
When a rich person drops $10,000 at a dinner, it's not always about food. It's about signaling. Like a peacock showing off its feathers, the rich use spending to send messages. I belong in this room. I can afford this level. You can trust me with big decisions. This isn't just ego, it's strategy. In high-level business, appearance equals credibility. A hedge fund manager flying private isn't just being flashy. He's telling clients, I'm already winning. Want to win with me? To them, every dollar spent can be a message sent.
Here's something that stings a little. Most rich people don't spend their own money. They spend their money's money. Let's break it down. You work, you earn, you spend. Cycle repeats. They invest, their money earns, they spend the profits. It's like this. You plant a tree, it grows apples. You eat the apples, but you never chop the tree. Regular people spend the tree. The rich, they live off the fruit. This is why spending doesn't feel like loss to them, because the source stays untouched. You lose money and feel pain. They lose income as in the machine keeps running. Here's a weird truth. Being rich isn't about having a big number. It's about how many choices you can make without fear. Can you say yes to an opportunity without asking if you can afford it? Can you quit your job Without your life collapsing, can you take a risks and not lose sleep? The rich live in a world of optionality, where time is theirs, where bad decisions don't ruin them, where no regrets isn't a mindset. It's a luxury. That's why they can spend with ease. Because behind every dollar, there's a safety net of freedom. There's another secret. Poor people use debt to survive. Rich people use debt to grow. You buy a couch on a credit card. They buy an apartment complex using other people's money. You pay interest. They collect rent. It's not that the rich are smarter. It's that they're playing a different game, with different rules. One where banks say yes faster, where credit works for them, not against them. When the rich take financial risks, it's often leveraged and protected. So even if things go wrong, they don't lose personal money, just borrowed capital. It's like playing poker with the house's chips.
Let's be honest. The fear of wasting money isn't about the money itself. It's about what it means. Regret is emotional debt. And for people living paycheck to paycheck, regret can feel like a threat. Because when you don't have backup, every choice feels final. But for the rich, regret is a speed bump. Annoying maybe, but never life-altering. It's not that they're fearless. It's that they can afford mistakes. And that changes how you spend. When your basic needs are fully, permanently secured, spending becomes freedom, not fear.
Here's what school forgot to mention. Wealth isn't taught, it's modeled. If you grow up watching your parents stress over bills, save every coupon and fear every bill, that becomes your blueprint. But if you grow up watching money move, grow, compound, flow, you learn to treat it like an opportunity, not a threat. This is why generational wealth is about more than inheritance. It's about mindset inheritance, and mindset affects everything, from how you invest, to how you spend, to how you feel after you swipe your card. The rich don't just have money, they have a different relationship with money. A billionaire casually spend millions. It feels outrageous. But here's what you're not seeing. The tax loopholes, the capital gains, the offshore structures, the companies in their name that pay for their lifestyle, their personal. Spending is often subsidized by systems they help design. So while you're budgeting for groceries, they're expensing luxury hotels as business meetings. It's not just unfair, it's invisible. And that's the trick. The rich don't regret spending because they're barely paying.
Let's go back to the dinner example. You spend $2,000 and feel it for months. They spend $2,000 and deduct it on taxes, or use a corporate card, or earn it back in interest tomorrow morning. You play on hard mode. They play on easy, with cheat codes. This isn't about envy, it's about awareness. Because once you realize the rules aren't equal, you stop blaming yourself for struggling and start asking smarter questions.
This part might feel frustrating. If the game is rigged, what's the point? Well, knowledge is leverage, and leverage is power. The first step is this. Shift your mindset from consumer to creator. Spend like an investor. Think like an owner. Learn how money moves, not just how it's earned. Start asking questions like, how can I earn while I sleep? What can I buy that pays me back? Where does money flow? And how can I stand closer? No, you can't change the system overnight, but you can change how you move within it. And that's the beginning of wealth. So, why don't the rich regret spending money? Because most of the time they aren't spending it. They're strategizing with it. Because they know that real wealth isn't about saving pennies. It's about controlling flow. And because their relationship with money isn't emotional, it's tactical. But here's the kicker. If money flows upward and spending keeps growing, who's really paying for their freedom? That's a story for next time. Subscribe, like, comment, and share this knowledge. If you want to liven up your story or create a sales page for your business, the link is in the description. See you later. Subscribe, like, comment, and share this knowledge. If you want to liven up your story or create a sales page for your business, the link is in the description. See you later.